It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Welcome, folks. We watched another wonderful Hallmark holiday film. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Regan, and with me, as always, is the great Kristin Finger.
Hello, I am the other host. This weekend, we got to watch Christmas in Vienna. Kev, do you want me to tell you a little bit about it?
I would love to hear about this movie all over again.
All right, great. So Jess is a violin player, and she just isn't feeling it anymore. She's saying to herself, where's the passion in my violining? Well, she gets a gig in Vienna, which I had to Google. It's in Austria. So she traveled all the way to Austria for this gig, which she assumes is her final gig. But not only does she find her passion for violining, but she finds her passion in another human being by the name of Mark. Also begins a kinship with his 3 kids because her friend from college happens to be their nanny because she's her cousin's sister's former roommate.
It gets real confusing. It really does, yes.
So we weren't the only ones that got to watch this film this weekend. Of course, we have 2 special guests. Our first guest is Chip Chantry. Hi, Chip.
Hello, and season's greetings to everyone.
Thank you so much. Our second guest is Steve Roney.
Hello, thanks for having me, and season's greetings to one and all.
Wow, what a festive evening we are starting off with. Now, here's something I like to ask all of our guests. Now, Steve, going in right out of the gate, on a level of, I always watch these movies too, this is the first time I've watched a Hallmark movie, where do you fall, my friend?
So this is my first full movie. I prior to this, I would have called myself Hallmark adjacent because my wife watches them sometimes. And so they're on in the house, I hear them, I pass through the room sometimes. But I've never watched one start to finish. This was my first one.
So you're not even sitting there with your wife, Steve. It's just, it's in the realm in which you dwell. It's happening, but you're just like, I got other things to do.
Sometimes that makes me sound a little like Mark in the movie, but
Yeah, I know. No spoilers yet.
No spoilers.
Sorry. Sometimes I'll sit and watch it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice of you because my husband does not sit and watch these for more than him walking from the kitchen to upstairs. Now, Chip, how about you? Where do you fall on this scale of always to first time?
Like our pal Steven, I'm also Hallmark adjacent. I believe this was my first full-length one. I don't dislike them, and I've always been a sucker for a good made-for-TV movie, whether it's Lifetime or, on ABC back in the day, or, so that just that whole genre I've always enjoyed. But I think this is my first full Hallmark event.
This is great. So the fact that both of you are sort of like newbies to this, typically, Kev, we've always had someone that watches them often or has seen a few, and then someone that's never.
Right.
So I kind of like this mix of both of them kind of never seeing a full one. But now that you've got to sit down and watch a whole one, Chip, please unpack your emotional range during this film.
It was, first of all, I think it was my first Christmas movie of the season.
I thought you were going to say ever, because that would be huge. Some of them are better, Chip. Some of them are better.
So it definitely got me in the spirit. And the one thing that I will have to say is, like I said, I'm a sucker for a made-for-TV movie. I do love not only the plot and the feel of the Christmas in the movie, but then you also start having the Christmas commercials come in. And I think that's just such a big part of it. I forget if it was that show or not. I saw the Hershey Kisses bells,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's like,
back,
okay.
baby.
And that just made me feel good. So I think that it definitely got me in the spirit, which I was
That
happy
is so nice.
about. Yeah.
Now, Steve, you mentioned already your hatred for Mark. Should we jump in?
I think we should. Yeah.
So we met Mark, who is a diplomat or an ambassador or something else that Kristin also had to Google because she didn't understand what this guy did for
Minister, maybe? Minister?
I think they say minister. Yeah, he's not quite an ambassador yet. He could become an ambassador, but that's like 2 moves away. So if you're watching like Queen's Gambit, you're still 2 moves away from being an ambassador at this point.
See.
I just assume everyone's watching Queen's Gambit.
Sure. We can plug that show as well. So, Steve, what was your initial thought on Mark?
The whole production itself, I was surprised at how it's pretty high quality.
Yeah.
They're very well done. And not to not answer your question about Mark, but the scenery was incredible. It was filmed in Austria. Aren't these mostly
They
filmed
were
in Vienna?
on location, baby. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think Mark's a fine actor, but I think he was miscast.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. Yep. Yeah, just a little background on the film. It was actually filmed last December. That's why this is one of the first Hallmark films we've watched where there are a ton of people. They've been doing a lot of filming during COVID, so they're very pared down productions. Hallmark typically takes about 3 or 4 of their movies, and they put a lot of money into it. And this one, you can tell they were literally in Vienna. All of those locations they've gotten access to. And as you see them walking around, those crowds, they're shopping in Christmas markets at Christmas, but in 2019. So
I actually, fun fact, Kristin has been to Vienna. I also realized that after realizing that it was in Austria, and I said, I've been to Austria. Where did we go in Austria? And it was Vienna. So I have pictures in the cathedral and in front of that big mansion, yellow house they went to.
St. Stephen's Cathedral. Did you go on the Ferris wheel, Kristin?
No.
You missed opportunity.
I was like 13, 15 on AMA, American Music Abroad.
Oh, yeah, right. Nobody goes on Ferris wheels at that age. Good point.
We're too cool. We just walk the streets.
So, Chip, what do you think of Mark? Mark, a good fella? What are you thinking?
Smarmy as hell. Can I say that? Just
yes.
Smarm but charm. I'm gonna say smarm. He had the same smarm and charm factor.
Yeah.
I will say I didn't like him right away because I took a leap and I wasn't totally in on right away. It was his cousin babysitting the kids. I thought maybe that was his wife at first, but then he's being really flirty with Isla Fisher or whoever she is.
Oh yeah.
She had I was like, oh, is this guy stepping out?
Yeah.
As Joe Jackson would say. But then you find out that he's a good guy. But then it was hard for me to walk that back then because I was like, oh, I prejudged him. But a little smarmy. But I liked him.
Chip, I think that's interesting because I almost felt the director feared people might think that because they didn't. Tori was her name, and as Kristin said, she was both the cousin and the nanny to the kids, and she's the roommate to Jess. Who, I just want to throw this out real fast. If you rewatch the very beginning when the reporter's interviewing her, he calls her Jessalyn because her name is actually Jessalyn. They never say it again. She goes, Jess is fine. And I'm thinking, why Jessalyn? Like, because she plays the violin?
Was that like a producer's niece or something like that?
Maybe.
Jessalyn plays the violin. Yeah.
I guess, but it was just, and then she said, just Jess, and nobody ever says it ever again the rest of the movie. And I was like, that wasn't necessary. In any way, shape, or form, that wasn't necessary. Yeah, so Mark, you see Tori look towards this fellow we don't know yet, who would later turn out to be Vincent, Mark's assistant, and they both have like kind of a moment. So so you could have hated the wife at that point if you thought it was the wife and been like, this how they do in Austria? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy in Austria. I did also question immediately the age difference between Jess and Mark, but then I went to the Jugal and they are only 5 years apart in real life. That man is only 45 years old. Yeah. He looks like he's 65 years old.
He looks like an ambassador, but really he's just a minister.
Yeah. I think he looks his age, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because I am 45 and I'm
Wait
like,
a minute.
wait. But she looks fantastic. Like she has aged well. He has aged appropriately. So that's all I'm gonna say.
So
Yes.
I'm doing math here. She's 40.
She's 40. Okay, so maybe that's what it is, Kev. Maybe you're right. She looks like 25 years old.
Yeah.
And by the way, one plot line that I did not buy was that she said she grew up in Philly.
Yeah.
If she grew up in Philly, she doesn't look like that when she's 40. Trust me. Like that's not. we are some hard living people. We are some hard living people here.
Yeah. There's at least a mullet happening.
By the way, I did some Googling as well, and I went to their either Wikipedia or IMDb page. Can I give you a little fact about Mark, the actor who played Dan Cortez or whatever his name is?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Do you know what his first acting job was? This is amazing. This is
tell us.
somebody like me. I don't think Kristin is too young for this, but hopefully the gentleman in the room will.
If you say Riptide, I'll lose my mind.
You're not too far off. He is a Canadian gentleman.
Okay.
So he's from Canada.
Yeah.
His first acting job was in a music video. He played. Do you want to take a guess?
Oh.
It was early 90s, maybe like 92-ish, I'm guessing.
Can I guess the band? Canadian band?
Yes and no. Yes. It's a Canadian artist.
I want to say Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams.
Celine Dion. Celine Dion?
No, you're getting
Canadian?
colder.
Los Lobos.
Nah.
Missed it.
He played Man in Car in Tom Cochran's Life is a Highway.
Oh,
He's the
nice.
guy on the highway?
He is the guy whose life is on the highway, a young Brennan Elliott.
Yeah, so we have a dead wife alert. Yep. So Hallmark has been getting away from the dead wife and doing more we accept divorce. However, how do you have children that melancholy if the idea is well, mom and dad are just like their mom lives over there in a beautiful palace over here. So we did have a dead wife, and it was 3 years ago, but man, does that weigh on my man Mark. Whoo, baby.
Heavy-hearted.
Yeah, in fact, he gets really triggered at that first dance, that waltz.
Yeah.
He just
He's
freezes
out.
up.
I don't waltz.
I
I believe is what he said.
And I did feel bad for him, and I thought that she kind of overreacted. You know, like there was a couple of moments where maybe a kiss would happen, and he just doesn't seem ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, and she's like, well, he's just not that into me. And it's like, well, he's got some baggage he's got to deal with. This is a big step for him.
Right.
I felt I'm like, give the man some time.
Give him some room.
Although he did break the rules of the mistletoe. You can't kiss a hand. That's not the rule.
No. Yeah.
Is it?
didn't like
I kind of liked that.
Did you?
Yeah, because again, what Chip's saying, it's going to be on his terms, and he's not going to let a mistletoe thrust him past his dead wife.
Yeah, he's not letting foliage tell him what to do.
Are you incapable of making out unless you're under mistletoe? You're not alone. Join our mistletoe support group today. 1-800-MISTLE-KISS-ONLY.
So typically there's like someone that's pushing their relationship together, and I loved that it was that old Austrian woman. This is my Austrian.
Yeah, keep going. It sounds perfect.
That's what it sounded like to me.
That means kiss her now.
She understood one word, though. Jess understood the word mistletoe, right? In that
Mistletoe.
little scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was almost the exact word. It was like mistletoven or something. Yeah.
Also, they lived in the heart of Vienna, apparently, because every day it's like, you want to go to this festival? Do you want to go to this festival? Let's go to this. Where did they live? How many festivals?
They live in a
like,
palace with 1 million Christmas trees. That's where they live.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what a minister's salary makes? Should I remarry?
Or become a minister.
Oh, okay, that's right. I could do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this isn't a religious minister, right? This is like a minister in European things.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, he may be religious. It might be why, he's taking until death to us part very seriously.
Very seriously.
Like, even death cannot part us. That is one of the things I felt this movie could have used, which was a ghost wife. Yeah.
Ghost wife.
Ghost wife.
Yeah.
Do they do that in these movies?
No, never.
We just always want some sort of ghost or something. Well, there's been a movie with a ghost, and the ghost took his shirt off.
Different movie. You can't talk about another movie that deep.
I'm sorry. Here's something also that continuity bothered me. Why did only the youngest kid have an accent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was adorable and had the most adorable accent, but she had one of the other kids didn't.
Why?
I think they were trying. I think the boy was sort of trying.
He was awkward.
Yeah.
He was learning German. I thought that was for a girl too. And then I got my hopes up and actually thought maybe it's even for a boy, which would be, and again, Hallmark's been very progressive this year. And I was like, oh, and then when there were two other boys he was speaking to, I was like, and then it was just like, no, that's got nothing to do with anything. This kid, we just didn't know what to do with him. So speak German.
We gave him German.
Yeah. But that little girl, not only did she have an accent, there were periods where she wouldn't speak at all, to the point where it felt like it was a live telecast, and she had a line, and the camera cut to her, and she'd go,
Yeah, she'd look off to the side.
Yeah, there was
a lot of
someone over there who was like, do it now. And she was like, I love Christmas.
Tori had an accent too, sometimes.
Sometimes.
So she was playing an American. She is actually an Austrian who was playing an American, which is weird.
Why do that? Why do that?
Why not? Hey, why not? Yes. You know what? We as Americans, we do it all the time. Dick Van Dyke, anyone?
No, I mean make her just Austrian.
Yeah.
She could be a college roommate and be Austrian, and then you don't have to worry about this accent.
I sort of assumed that anyway, that she was just Austrian, that she was maybe an exchange student or something, because she definitely had that accent.
But it would come and go. I think she was trying to do an American accent, and once in a while it would slip out, and it was like, well, that's fine. We got no time to go back.
I will say I did appreciate the fact that we definitely learned along the way. Like, they definitely slipped in a lot of like historical facts, or just like, not that I remember any of those words because they are very difficult, but it's like, how many steps are there in this tower? And it was like 343. And like, they just give you little facts about Austria that I was like.
That was the only thing Jess didn't know about Austria, because then later on she went on a sightseeing. The kids were taking her sightseeing, and she was the tour guide. She knew every single thing there was about every building.
Yes.
In fact, I thought, remember she was standing in the middle of that hall and she was like inspired by, like, I thought, oh, she's getting her passion back. But no, that last
I thought she was going to play there. Yeah. And she mentioned how Mozart played there when he was 6. And I was like, whoa, how Hallmark getting in here and playing in this location? They didn't. But it was awesome they were able to shoot there.
I also was wondering how they were able to film in those places, because I don't even think when I went in like 96, we were allowed to take pictures inside.
Yeah.
I looked that up too. There was one place, I guess it was the Palace, one place that maybe it was that place where they said, you're not even allowed to take cameras in. It was really rare for anybody to be able to film in there, which was really cool.
That's why in my notes I wrote, I'm pretty sure this is just an ad for Vienna. Like a travel agency was like, hey, let's, like.
They got a sweet deal. Hallmark got a sweet deal from Vienna.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if it wasn't for COVID, everyone would be booking their flights for next Christmas.
Well, everyone on the Hallmark group that I'm on was like, I want to go to Vienna now. I was like, it's working.
Yeah.
So who else? I mean, I'm with a bunch of bros right now, so you guys probably appreciated this moment as much as I did. But like when Vincent and Mark sat down and like had a little bit of a bro chat about like, should I take this job? I just liked it. I liked it.
Because you didn't see that bonding that much, and then it was fun. Although I will say, the one thing I didn't like about it is, I'm just going to throw the writers under the bus. He's going to go to Zurich.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's good. I don't know much about geography. Okay. But Vienna and Zurich, It's the same. They're the same place.
Yeah, it's not like
They're not
he's
too-
leaving the continent. Yeah.
Right. Like I would have put him in Australia or in Thailand or wherever.
Mars. I mean,
it's like-
why not? Go to another planet. Sure.
It's like, oh, I just got transferred over to Maple Shade. It's like, I think we can make this work.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Chip, I'm kind of with you. My problem was that's a big move. And they're even saying this is one move away from ambassador now. So it's a big deal. Why is his attaché answering this question? Why isn't he getting on the phone and telling them, yes, I'll take it. No, I won't. Vincent's like, Zurich's on the phone again. I got to tell them something.
I've been stalling for you, buddy.
What he should have said is, here's Mark.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. Ask him.
Ask him. Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
I have to go sell my mom's wares down at the festival. I don't know why you're calling me.
Do you think Vincent would have gone with him to Zurich?
I believe so.
Think so. I think that's like his right-hand man. You
Right,
know?
because they didn't see, because I thought there was going to be a sadness of like, oh, I'm leaving you too, Vincent. But they were, I think they're a package deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think Tori would have stayed, right?
She said she was staying. Yeah.
She's got the new restaurant / bake shop / art gallery.
Yeah. Nothing you can't do in that place.
That's right. It's Vienna's a magical place.
So, Kristin, we've talked about Mark as an actor. Perhaps we should now talk about him as just the visage of Mark in Kristin's Hallmark Holiday Hunk, Objectification.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm so excited to do this objectification for, what the heck is this guy's real name?
Brennan Elliott.
Brennan Elliott of the character Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Now, we rate our hunks on a scale of 1 to 10 mistletoe. We use sex appeal, swagger, like sort of is in there, but also like, do you like their character? I guess if you want to get that deep into it, I just go off of looks. So we're gonna start with Kevin. Kevin, for Mark, 1 out of 10 mistletoes. What do you give him?
I liked him the first time we saw him. When Jess first bumps into him in the market, I liked him. They were playful and fun. And then it was almost all downhill. Every time she would lift him up, he would fall down. And I was just like, no, dude, except for when they were ice skating. A lady can't ice skate? Come on.
Come on.
I'm going to give Mark a mere 4 mistletoes.
Yeah. Burn.
All right, Mark.
Sorry, Mark. Chip, I'm going to go to you next. What do you give Mark? 1 out of 10 mistletoes.
He's a very striking gentleman where he's like, I feel like if I saw him in a grocery store, I'd be like, he's somebody. Like he just has that look of like, he's definitely very well dressed, always dressed to the nines, had some sort of sweater ensemble on. I thought that was good. He was a bit of a I hate to say this, and I'm not going to reveal my age because that's going to make me feel sad, but like a older gentleman of 45, but like he had that sort of distinguished aspect about him. I would give him a 9, but I think if we're in Vienna, we're going to use the metric system. So I'll say a 7.
Okay.
7 mistletoes.
Wow,
That's
nice.
high.
Yeah.
I am learning what Chip's type is. This is fun. This is a fun game. Steve, how about you?
Well, like I said before, I thought he was a fine actor. I think he was miscast. Since we're judging the hunkiness, this is superficial. I'll say that when I first saw him, I thought that's the kind of guy I could see playing a jerk, like a villain, more than a romantic lead.
100% agree.
And another thing I noticed about him, and I don't know how I noticed this, but at one point in the movie, he parted his hair on the other side. He just flipped his part,
Whoa.
and then flipped it back.
Okay.
And
Tried something new.
I need some consistency out of my hunks, so I'm going to go with 5. I'll go right down the middle with 5.
Yeah.
By the way, I appreciate Steve's attention to detail. I'd like to drop my 7 down to a 6 because of that part business. I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Yeah,
At
no,
all.
that's fair. Consistency, please, in your hair. Thank you for your opinions. I do not find this man attractive at all. He has a weird boxy build. He looks weird in pants. His shirts look weird. His face, I don't like his face.
Man.
Wow.
This is scorched earth.
And I usually like a dark-haired gentleman, and this guy's a nothing. No jingles were belling. So I am so sorry, but I gave him a 0.5.
Wow. I really thought we might have our first 0, but
Wow.
I gave him a 0.5 because the only moment I did enjoy was he filled out a P code okay. Like, that was the only thing he looked okay.
He pulled that off. He pulled that off.
Yeah, Kristin, based on previous episodes of Remark, did the grilled cheese making not do anything for you? Got no extra points.
He didn't do it. He just said, "Who wants grilled cheese?" And then I never got to witness any grilled cheese being made. So, that guy.
I like when he said, when he put his kids to bed and he said, I can broker peace deals all day, but it's more of an accomplishment to put my kids to bed.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a dad, you idiot. Of
Also,
course.
is Vienna brokering that many peace deals?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I could broker those peace deals.
Yeah, I think it's like, oh, I didn't get my ski pass yet. It's like, yeah, we can work that out.
Were you guys excited when Julian, the middle son, who's learning German, and I barely ever knew his name, got his gift at the end? Because Jess said over and over, home is where you hang your hat. There are different ways to hang your hat. There are different homes to hang your hat in. So many.
Here it comes.
And then he opens it up, and there is an Eagles hat, and he has no idea what it is.
Go Birds.
No, if I'm him at that point, I go, I got a $15 hat. My sister just got a $500 violin. I mean,
Exactly.
They sort of said that.
He got a $6,000 hat hook, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, good price tags on it. Chris, this wasn't the only movie that we watched this weekend. We also watched a little thing called Meet Me at Christmas.
Yeah, it was a little thing, all right. It was a little thing of garbage.
I know, I think you and I might have a lot more to say about this. However, Shannon and Aubrie have quite a bit to say about it in their segment, Winter Wonder Whodunit.
And welcome to Winter Wonder Whodunit. I'm Aubrie, and here is my co-host, Shannon. Shannon? Shannon! Oh my god, it looks cold. Are you frozen?
Let it go! I can't finish that song because we can't afford it, but I
Fair.
am not frozen. I am here.
Oh my gosh, that was delightful. A little Disney sing-along, as much as we could afford. Tonight we are recapping Meet Me at Christmas. And I know what you may be thinking, Christmas isn't really a place, it's a day. And they didn't say meet me on Christmas or meet me at Christmas tree. So the movie opens on Liam and Katie. They're about to get married, a young couple in love. But their wedding planner has dropped out unexpectedly. And Liam's mom, Joan, has to step in. Meanwhile, Katie's parents are running late, and Katie's Uncle Beau, who is a famous worldwide photographer who Liam thinks is a superstar, decides to shoot their wedding. And Liam even says at one point that, I can't believe this is like meeting a celebrity. I can't believe you're shooting our wedding.
It's like Ann Getty's shooting it.
He's like the Ann Gettys. He probably puts babies up Celine Dion's dress.
Okay, so Beau and Joan have to now plan an entire wedding all on their own. And Joan, luckily, is an inspiring wedding planner. But they might have met each other before. This is because they did, at the same place where she met her husband, at a tree.
Yes.
And Beau never showed up. And we don't know why. We'll find out. But instead, her husband did, and they fell in love and had a baby, and then he died.
The husband died. The baby's still
Oh,
alive.
yeah.
Getting
Sorry,
married.
the baby's alive.
He's Liam.
He's getting married.
So Joan realizes this when Beau pulls out a pocket watch.
Because because the kid had a pocket watch. Because every good 18-year-old carries around a pocket watch. So Joan doesn't want to tell her son, the baby from the tree. Because she's like, oh, I don't want to like spoil the story that like your dad and I like fell in love right at the tree, and it's like a whole thing, and like that's why you're getting married on Christmas. It's like this whole thing. So instead, she doesn't tell him, and it's a whole secret. And then all of a sudden, they find out because Bo has a creepy photo of his mom just sitting on the table. No one knows why. And then her son's like, whoa, Mom, did you know Bo? And she's like, yeah, I did. He's like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? She's like, because I love your son, I love your dad, and I don't want you to think I didn't love your dad. And he's like, what? And then he's like, but it's fine. You can like Bo. And she's like, okay, great. Oh, because it was love at first sight with Bo. And so then they like fall in love again.
I also want to point out one big detail. When did Bo take that picture? Because he didn't have a camera in the flashback, did he?
Oh, he has a camera the whole time.
Okay.
Which is why you know that it's him
It's
the
Bo,
entire
okay.
time. Because he's wearing a camera around his neck. And you're like, obviously that's him.
Okay. I didn't see him snap that photo, so I didn't know if that was like actual or it was just implied.
Maybe during the snowman building contest?
Oh yes, we should point out that in present day, Bo and Joan go on a beautiful date, and then he asks her if she's up for some more winter activities.
No, they don't go on a date.
Yeah, he gets the sleigh. He gets the sleigh with the horses. It's a business dinner, but he gets a sleigh with horses and takes her to this restaurant where they drink wine, and he's like, so you have some more time for Christmas? And they go to the snowman building competition.
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget?
I did forget.
Because he was a Grinch, and then he gets a sled pulled by horses. Like, that's not a Grinch. I don't know if they know the definition of a Grinch, but he's changing because love is changing him, and it might be that creepy photo of Katie he has with him at all times that has changed him.
I think the moral of the story is there was love at first sight.
Yep.
28 years ago, which is a very important detail.
Yes.
So 28 years ago, they fell in love at first sight. Something happened, and he didn't show up for their love to continue, and then love brought them back together in the form of Christmas. Let's find out why. Aubrie, bring it home. Tell them why they didn't show up at the tree.
Katie's dad stands up, gives not a wedding speech, but he reveals that
they were going to meet Santa, and all of a sudden,
they get hit by a car.
Hit by a car.
And that's the wedding.
By a car.
And Bo drops the detail that he was in the hospital for months. For months, guys. And they never elaborate on that. That wasn't in the wedding speech, although poor Katie, because like if my dad gave that as a wedding speech and Christmas was my favorite holiday, wouldn't you be a little mad? Like, wouldn't you be like, get your stuff together? So yeah, that's the end of the movie. They fall in love.
They get a second chance at first chance love.
Yes.
It's basically the moral of the story.
And they meet each other at Christmas.
At Christmas.
Now for our next segment. Things the ultimate Grinch would say in a Hallmark Channel movie.
Aubrie, what would the ultimate Grinch say?
Oh, I hate Christmas trees. Let's light it on fire. Oh, where's my dog? I'm going to ruin Christmas and stuff a ham in my Santa sack.
I thought that ham was going in a very different place. I think that the ultimate Grinch would say all presents should be eaten by bears that come into the town and eat them in front of your children so that no presents can ever be had and that they'll be frightened of bears forever.
I think the ultimate Grinch would rearrange the calendar and say, hey kids, are you excited for Christmas? Well, look at this calendar. It only goes from December 23rd to December 26th. You don't even get Christmas Eve, kids, because I'm a real Grinch.
That would be terrible. I think the ultimate Grinch would go into everyone's advent calendar, eat all the chocolate before the 25th, and then replace it with prunes.
He's a mean one.
this is on Hallmark Mysteries and something channel. Now we get to do our favorite segment. What's the mystery?
I think the mystery of this movie is, when did Bo not become a Grinch?
Okay.
And how was he so good at making Christmas ornaments?
All right, that's a good one. I think the mystery is, why did they say it was 28 years later? Like, was 30 just too much? They're like, oh God, not 30 years. 28's the perfect year.
Why didn't they say 25? It's Christmas. 25 is the perfect Christmas number.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to know what the meeting entailed when they were sitting down and they were like, all right, so she's like 18 in this, so like they gotta be like a certain amount of years later in order for her to have had a child that's like out of college and trying to figure out what he's gonna do. So like that's like he's like 23, 24. So like I don't know, what would it be appropriate amount of time? Oh, it would be 30, but okay. And 25 would have been correct because Christmas. No, 28. Was it Karen's birthday and she was turning 30 that year and she's like, no, I'm 28 again. 30 would have been the appropriate amount of time because if you do the math, she was 18 years old plus 28, she would only be 46 years old. Then she'd have a child, he was like 25, then she would have been 19 when they had the child. And that is saying that she shouldn't have gone to college because then she wouldn't have been out of college. This makes no sense, Karen.
I solved it, Shannon. Karen is a huge fan of 28 Days Later, or the movie 28 Days starring Sandy Bullock.
No, that makes a lot more sense.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Winter Wonder Whodunit. Until next week, Winter Wonder Whodunit out.
Chris.
Wow.
Did it again.
They did it again. I just don't understand. Are they literally descendants of Sherlock Holmes?
Or Katie Holmes, perhaps.
Maybe it is Katie Holmes.
I think it's Katie Holmes. But regardless,
Yeah.
I do believe that there was a fella in that film. Meet me at Christmas. Meet me at Kristin's Hallmark Holiday Hunk Objectification.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We are at it again. 1 out of 10 mistletoes for Charlie, played by Mark Bellany. And Kev, what do you give this guy? 1 out of 10.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, honestly. I don't mind the guy. I don't mind the actor. I don't even mind the character. I just felt like they did no justice for any of the characters in this film. I was not a fan of the plot. But that said, Mark feels like a guy. Mark, right? That's his name?
Yeah. No, that's his real name.
Yeah. What was his character's name? Charlie, you said?
Charlie.
Really? That didn't sound right. I guess.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, let's say Charlie. Why not? Very forgettable, the movie, so the name can be forgettable as well.
It doesn't matter.
Now, I'm gonna keep it kind of even keeled, just because this movie, I was not a fan of the movie. I wasn't hating everybody in it. It was just the movie itself. So I'm gonna give him like a 5.
What?
Yeah, because I would hang out with this guy. Like,
what?
I would drink a beer with this guy. I don't drink beer. I drink booze. I drink booze with this guy. No, I liked the guy. I did. I felt like he was fine. I don't know. You could convince me to come down lower. Let's say 4. Peer pressure. Last week I just said no peer pressure, but peer pressure. Yeah.
Kevin, this guy spent his entire life looking for someone he met and then just stalked her. That is my backstory. He wasn't out shooting photography. He was looking for this person.
Oh.
And that he has a photo of her and just creepily keeps it and is always on his desk.
This is Nightcrawler all of a sudden.
Yes. There was not a single bend or tear in this photo, and it's been 38 years or some crap like that.
Well, he could have just printed it out, right? He was a photographer. He could have, what do they call that? Develop. He could have redeveloped it. No?
I know. He had a weird, like, if you're going to have a mustache, commit to it. But if you're going to have a beard and a mustache, but like, it's kind of a beard and it's kind of a full mustache, Kevin, you're fine.
Oh,
His was not. His was not.
I feel like you're going to be like a 9 and shock us all.
No. Do you know what comes after a 1 or before a 1?
Whoa, really? It
Stamp
happened?
of a 0. I hated him.
Wow.
I hated the way he looked. I hated the way he mustached. I hated the way he talked. I didn't like him. He's stupid and his hair's stupid. And I'm so sorry. I feel so bad, but really I don't. A 0.
Oh, it's my grandfather's pocket watch.
Like, come on, bro.
There were a million of those things that they were setting up, and my wife and I, who's on the next episode, by the way, my wife and I were like, oh, they're going to use this to bring it back. They're going to use this. And then finally it was like, what are they going to do? And when he pulled the pocket watch out, we were both pissed at ourselves and like,
Also, I get it, but why was he in the hospital for months? I think he's a monster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were doing experiments on him. They released him out in the world to be this mustache monster.
Mustache Monster! I would watch that movie. Kristin,
Yes.
we have oftentimes given out our email address. You can email us at remarktheshow@google.com. Google.com? That nobody says that. At gmail.com. Chris, we have a piece of mail.
Someone actually did it?
They did! Legit!
Who is it?
This is from past guest Brendan Carr. And Brendan asked us, hi, Kristin and Kevin.
Hi.
What is your favorite musical moment in a Hallmark movie? It could be a performance or just the use of a song in a scene. Looking forward to your answers. Can't wait for this week's shows. Brendan Carr. Thank you, first of all, Brendan.
Thank you, Brendan.
You can find Brendan at Gorilla Radio. It's an awesome, awesome radio show that he does mostly weekly, but sometimes he'll do it every 2 weeks because people gotta live their lives.
Yeah.
I highly, highly recommend it. I know he's got some holiday stuff planned. So plug for Brendan. You can find him right there. Boom. That said, Chris, we might have the same song. I'm not sure. But what is your favorite song in a Hallmark film?
I'm pretty sure that we probably do. It's the one that Leanne Rimes did in It's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve. Yeah. So in that movie, her father had been writing a song and he died. And that was, I know that this is a trope that you've never heard of before. She lost her taste in music because of it. And little by little, she meets a fine fella. Who is that actor, Kristin?
I don't know. Maybe my husband, Tyler Hines?
Ding! Yeah, so she meets Tyler Hines and he kind of reignites her love of music and she finishes the song and then she plays it at the town pavilion or whatnot. But that is definitely the song and we'll post it if we can find it. Hallmark is weird with that. We will post it on our Facebook page if we can find it because it is a lovely moment in that movie.
It's the best.
Yes. Tied for second, every single song Alicia Witt has ever done.
We all have our favorites. Thanks for asking, Brendan.
Email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. We will read your question and we will give you our answer.
We'll give you our answer. Okay.
Yeah, so overall, did you like this film or not like this film? Let's hit it with that. Steve, where would you go with that?
Nah, I didn't love it. I thought it was, there was like no jeopardy. You know, there was nothing that was, the biggest problem was that he had asked her opinion about moving and she gave it.
Yeah.
And then he got mad about it, but not even really mad, just kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
And they had a little exchange over the coffee in the morning. And he said, you know, what did he say? Is that an opinion piece in the newspaper?
Yeah, it was catty, very catty.
And then she said, he said, how do you like your coffee? I'm sure you have a strong opinion about it. And then she said, how do you like your coffee? And I wanted her so bad to say, to go.
Oh, nice.
If she was from Philly, really from Philly, she would have said that.
Yeah.
They bailed right out of that one.
She wasn't from Philly. She lived in Bucks County. She was from like North Penn area and just said she was from Philly.
Chip, what do you think of this Philly girl in this movie? Would you watch another Hallmark film? Are you hooked now?
I enjoyed it. I would say I think it's I got out of it what I expected, I think, which was good. So I enjoyed that. The story, again, like Steve said, very little stakes. Like, he's either going to be an ambassador in one place or a minister in another beautiful place, and she's either going to be in this great orchestra or not.
Yeah.
Not a lot of stakes. Like, the place made it, the setting.
Absolutely.
Vienna. I'm glad they called it Christmas in Vienna, because that's it. Because like, if you take the story and put it in Indianapolis,
Right.
no offense to Indianapolis, but it's not going to be a good movie at all.
Yeah.
My one sticking point that I will say that I did not like, which would lower my score of this, who slow dances to Silent Night?
Like, to that point, at least they said you don't dance to Christmas songs, which you don't. It's weird.
It's
don't.
very weird, and
Yeah.
I didn't. That just made it was creepy the whole time. But I liked it. I got out of it what I want, and I think the whole overall feel was great, and the setting is what made this movie. But not something I'm going to revisit for the plot or the
Absolutely.
other ads.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So it had this. There was another film early in the Hallmark season called Chateau Christmas. Similar story, but this young lady had lost her passion for playing the piano. But luckily, it wasn't Silent Night. It was Oh Holy Night that kind of brought her back. So Jess had Silent Night that she needed to in her heart. You need to sing the song in my heart to help heal me. Very weird medicine in Vienna. I agree with Chip. I liked it because of where it was. Set it somewhere else, I probably didn't like it. And I also agree with Steve. There was no jeopardy. This was going around the internet too. This was Sound of Music with no Nazis. And while I'm 100% down with no Nazis, especially these days, it did. It had like Sound of Music moments, but never the grandeur.
They replaced the Nazis with sweets.
Yeah.
Diabetes
Just as
for
deadly.
Nazis. Yeah, true.
There was a moment where they almost had like the Von Trapp family moment where they like came down the stairs all at one time. And then of course, when they came out on the stage, which was the creepiest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
When the brother goes out, he's like, all right. And then the little girl goes out, who again is just looking at someone down in the audience.
And plays amazing violin after like 3 lessons.
3 lessons.
I don't hate it because like there's some of these that like this season I'm just like, ugh. But this one I don't think I'll watch again. But I wasn't angry while I was watching it. And I also, it really was beautiful. Like, again, if this was in Indianapolis, sorry, Indianapolis, but yeah, it would have been awful. Or even if they tried to put it in a small town. Ugh.
I think they could have put it in Philly because they did say Philly is the Vienna of the United States.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yes, they
100% did.
Yes, they did.
We don't have nearly as cool a Ferris wheel. Wow, man, really trashing Indianapolis. Unrelated to Indianapolis, let's go to the North Pole where Santa Claus has some wonderful treats from Vienna.
Mm.
Ho, 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 ho. Welcome to another episode here in my workshop. If you didn't hear last time, I'm sick of milk and cookies. You don't get to be a corpulent old man like this from eating a well-balanced meal and a variety of foods. You eat cookies, lots of cookies, and warm milk. Seriously, by the time I get to some of your houses, the milk has been sitting out for hours. Maybe consider a tea next time. But I digress. This week, I watched Christmas in Vienna. So let's go. Here we are at one of the many markets they have around the holidays in Vienna. But what you might not know about Vienna is before Mrs. Claus and I were together, I was able to meet women all over the world. And a woman in Vienna broke my heart. So while you might think an obvious snack pairing might be coming into play here, I assure you, these are disgusting Vienna sausages, and I won't be eating them today. I'd rather take you to Jess's hometown. Here we are in Philadelphia, specifically the Reading Terminal Market. Now here you can get all sorts of foods, but more importantly, Philadelphia has a warm place in my heart. You see, Christmas really isn't Christmas without the commercialization of the holiday. And you might not know this, but the first ads in America for Christmas started in the 1820s, but a very special thing happened in 1841. where a Philadelphia shop put a full-size cutout of Santa Claus inside the store to try and lure children and families in to take a look and then buy something. Yes, Philadelphia is technically home to the first mall Santa. Oh, you know what else Philadelphia is home to? Pretzels. So the next time you're thinking about getting Santa a snack to put above the fireplace, maybe cut out the warm milk, because Santa's got some lower GI issues. So put out a pretzel, some mustard, or maybe some hot cheese. No, leave the coal out of your stocking. Merry Christmas, everybody. Ho, ho, ho.
Chip Chantry, what can we plug for you, sir?
I would love for people to find me at Instagram and Twitter, just at Chip Chantry, my name, all one word, at Chip Chantry. And I have albums wherever you can get your comedy albums online, Swingers Party and Across from the Adonis.
So good, man. Great albums. Steve Roney, how about yourself?
You can find me on the Punch Up Podcast. We release podcasts every Monday, and you find folks have all been on it. It's a lot of fun, so check it out.
Thank you so much for A, watching this movie, and B, being here tonight to talk about it.
Thank you for having us. Really, thank you for having us. It's great.
Thank you so much. And I just love you guys. And I just want to say that I love you guys so much. And I just feel like love is learning the song in someone's heart and singing it just when they need it most.
Chip,
did I get
Chip,
that right?
Is that song in your heart, Life is a Highway?
It is.
Life is a highway. I want to drive it.